I think what Frank Esports is going to do on their end is they're going to turn towards some avenues they haven't explored. That we're looking at Kurt as a solo top laner trying to split push, and we're also looking at this pretender with the usual Predator or Vigar to see if he can impact the early game. A very different look from Frank Esports. They were a very slow team, but I think in this setup, we could be seeing different sparks flying that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, which is a good sign of adaptation, especially since, you know, I didn't realize 6-week split here for the PCS, meaning we're approaching the halfway point like we are in the LPL, like we are in other leagues as well. We're kind of getting on with meta's changing. We're getting closer towards those playoffs and MSI. Adaptation is something so under-talked about. So running into this game, we'll see if Frank Esports can play through it. Clement, the Predator you mentioned, I love this on Vega, just running people down and pressing E. Abusive, annoying, and most importantly, a great way to get first blood.
Yeah, I just think they should nerf Event Horizon. There's no reason that a crowd control ability that is so consistent and lasts for 3 seconds. Like, yeah. I just feel like it's mind-baffling that cage lasts.
And it's AoE. It's AoE. It's not like Morgana, it's a skill shot. It's literally a circle.
I mean, sure, you can only get stunned once, but it stays there for so long on the map, and you can stun the entire team. It's really the most broken ability. It doesn't even have that long of a setup time either, so, you know, if you can target the Event Horizon correctly, you can just, like, flash in and insta-stun people, too. So it's a very powerful pick, and we have seen, you know, some different builds come out here and there. From the Vigar. We had the Seraph build, just stack on stack for those baleful strikes there too. A very good scaling champion in its own right, extremely deadly. But in this situation, I just feel like for Frank Esports, they're probably going for a 4-1 setup. So the Event Horizon most of the time is not going to be for engage. It's actually just there to make sure that PSG can't make use of a wave. You drop the Event Horizon, you clear the wave, and then you just buy more time for Tryndamere to scale against the Gragas. I think that's the game plan.
Clement, you know, in the LPL, we have recently had a Vega, I believe it was Angel on Weibo Gaming, who built Shirelia's first item with Predator. So, along with a Hecarim on the same team, he pressed the button with Predator on his boots and was faster than the horse. I kid you not. So, I don't know if we're going to get that this time around, but it's definitely something that feels like a lot of fun to play, and it kind of shows the adaptation and builds that we're seeing out of this new mid lane champion that's had a lot of presence in 12.2 and 12.3 across the world.
I gotta say, that just sounds like overkill to me.
It's not, though. It was so good. The whole team just sprinted them down. Just 1,000 movement speed off SOFM. It was perfect.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know the entire composition, but I would be very surprised if you see that in this comp. Like, I don't think Frank Esports can pull a rundown comp against Braum, Chaos Storm, Gragas,
They weren't versing a Braum. You know?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the strategy for Vigar, but hey, I'm not that tuned in onto Vigar builds just yet. It's very new. We got Nesty on one game of it, and maybe we're going to learn more together.
Yeah, maybe we will. We'll watch the build path this game, folks. Remembering again that for Frank Esports, Clement's already talked about it here, but I want to kind of go on to the other side of PSG and talk a little bit about this early jungle pathing, because here in the early game, Juhan hasn't been spotted out. It was Hollow who's actually walked over a couple of wards, and PSG are doing their due diligence to kind of cover the lanes in this early stage, kind of making sure that Bay's not getting hit hard, that Pretender's not getting a free stun, and that everything's going as the game's planned out to be.
Yeah, I really don't expect much out of this early game. Maybe some ganks onto Vigar, but he's usually going to go back to base and get boots really early on.
Hello. Follow in a bit of trouble. The smite comes down, the thumbs in the air. Sad B from Juhan, and now this is schoolyard bullying. A camp left for him as well.
Yeah, really good tracking being done right here. He had pinpoint accuracy. I think he might have spotted the Hecarim as the pink ward was dropped onto his own red side, but overall Juhan with a great punish, some good flashy mechanics out here, and that's kind of the problem with Hecarim. You know, he is a teamfight beast. I think he's probably the best teamfight jungler, But early game, we'll get bullied out by the likes of the Xin Zhao and the Lee Sins.
Yeah. As you can see already, a bit of a CS advantage is going to build up in the jungle now. Holo can go back to his bottom side camps, but Juhan has so many options. Krug spawning, Wolves are there, Gromp's there, and an early Dragon pivoting as well. That's going to be a Chemtech Dragon. So, excuse me, Hextech. Chemtech, thankfully disabled as it should have been years ago. Or it shouldn't have even brought itself into existence. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm so glad that stopped.
Yeah, zombie mechanic is not exactly a fun one here. Hanabi trying to bully out Kurt a little bit by hitting this level 6 first.
True.
Again, I just don't see much happening in this early game. I feel like both sides have incentives to drag this one out. PSG with a more 5v5 teamfight focus, and for Frank Esports, their best play is probably to get a Herald drop onto top lane, accelerate Kurt into an early hole breaker, and just play the game from there. I think they're more going for a 4-1 setup.
Okay. Well, you've told me a couple of times now that I don't need to expect anything in the early games. I'll sit here and I'll wait, and I'll look forward to the 4-1. At the very least, yeah, it's a little bit slower. I guess I'll track Pretender's build a little bit closer. Dragon's going to be done, and his Dragon goes down.
Ooh. So we do have the Seraph's build coming out as well.
We do.
Now, we did have the Everfrost and not the double stack, but in a slow game like this one, I think it makes a lot of sense. Excuse me, for Pretender.
Are you okay, Clement? It's all right. Don't worry about it, man.
I got some fried chicken in my throat. That's all. But I should be back to normal now.
Okay, man. That's all right. Good little scuttle take from Holo. Actually getting some priority back in his jungle back. 10 CS down, by the way. Not the only CS advantage to talk about. Look towards mid. Pretender 5-6 CS leading the charge as he's getting pushed into the turret. Bay doing a pretty good job while Juhan's still stuck in the jungle. It is literally jungle v jungle, but Kurt's going to come in and try and do something about it. Bay on the wing as well, but Pretender now moving in. Nothing in the early game, Clement. You know what?
Everything.
There's something. Patience going to reset. Smite goes down. Level 6 now hit by Juhan. Holo has to watch while Pretender has popped the Predator once again. And Frank Esports, Clement, they're down 300 gold just off some simple jungle plays.
Yeah, good pressure coming in from Juhan, and he actually was level 6 before the invade happened, so it's a very measured play here as well. I think they have the burst damage to deal with the Tryndamere, and Kurt has to play this super safe. We also have Kaiwing roaming towards the mid lane, so covering all of their bases at the same time. And this is actually just beautiful play coming in from PSG, just getting whatever small leads they have. And once again, we do see Holo kind of being bullied out. Holo has been known to be very utility focused. Teams have really just tried to bully him wherever he is. We've seen this in multiple of Frank Esports games. And I don't really see Frank being able to contest this. Maybe a catch-up Kaiwing.
Well, Rebirth is flashing in, missed Venom's Blade onto the top laner. Kick's gone away, Kurt's out of there, Holo jumps in as well. This is disjointed from Frank Esports, but Bay's run out of mana. He's going to have to flash out of the wing as the explosive cars kind of almost trolls the mid laner of PSG. But they get out, they get the Herald, and that's what they came for.
Frank, you had one job. Woo! You had one job, just kill Kaiwing. I don't know what's up with the split focus right there. You know, Leona goes in, Rebirth misses everything, and honestly, Kaiwing should have been dead. He face checked straight into a brush. There was plenty of crowd control, but he gets away because I think Frank got greedy. They just wanted more kills than they really needed. Like, if they just snowballed that Kaiwing kill correctly, you know, they could have delayed the Herald backs a little bit. It would have been a pretty sizable tempo swing. But, you know, looking at the map right now, this is prime position for PSG. They're coming onto the map fresh. And look at that vision control. This is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, the whole map is red and has been for the past couple of minutes. As this game started out, that's why Juhan's had so much control in Holo's jungle. Each step of the way, tracking where this Hecarim is. I mean, you look at both riversides. Only Frank have a couple of wards up towards that top side. There's one bot, but really nothing to speak of where every move Holo makes is continuously being monitored. So at this point, Juhan continues to lead the jungle play. PSG Talon with a 700 gold lead. And Clement, you know, this is what good jungling is. I think we've seen this a couple of bits today where Vision has made games.
It definitely has. He has all of the entrances into River completely covered. Holo can't find a gank. If he wants to do so, he has to take a very inefficient path and do a lane gank. I think the only place that you're really expecting something to happen probably is the top lane right here. Kurt does need to stay ahead of this Gragas and kind of pressure him a little bit more. I'm kind of surprised that he's down up to 20 CS here. In the meantime, NMN, ooh.
Yeah, he's going to get tagged out a little bit. Unified with a lot of shurikens under his belt. As he clears away the wave, the flash comes in with the Tempest. Juhan kicks him against the wall. Beautiful ulti from Kaiwing, but they can't kill Eminem. Rebirth has slowed it down. They want to kill to get out of this, and the Sonic Wave will secure. Juhan makes his move, and first blood belongs to PSG.
Yeah, absolutely huge trading from Unified, taking Eminem down to below half HP without any hope. Any help. That was just 1v1. And
any
they
hope
get
is
to,
right.
That's also true. I just feel like it's so ridiculous that we've seen like Aphelios's kill tank junglers underneath their own tower without going into tower range. Like, that just feels wrong to me as an AD carry. But hey, we live in Season 12, and that's kind of the way the world works. So, first tower over towards Unified. That's, you know, just Moonlight Vigil punish. Stacking up the crescendos, very easily done. Crescendums, I think. Eminem trying to kite, but chooses the wrong way. Now we have a big skirmish in the mid.
Oh, we do. Look at that Chaos Storm value as well on the 3 people. Is it a Chaos Storm? Not too sure. We're still looking at the replay on our main screen. No, Bay held on to it, but it's in front of the Dragon spawning. This will be the second one for PSG, Clement. I want to point out, after that last play, PSG got 3,000 gold ahead. They're already ahead by about 600, but it was first blood. It was first turret blood. It was all the plates over to Unified. Suddenly, Frank Esports are way behind, and they're exposing themselves to another turret through the mid lane. Juhan dodging away after the event horizon finds its mark. And control given over all for this Dragon is still going to be hard for Frank Esports to cope with.
I'm a little bit baffled at what happened in that play, but Holo used his ultimate. Everyone else held on to theirs, and for some reason, they gave over basically the entire top lane tower for a Drake. It's definitely not worth it in my book, and you see...
In everyone's book, Clement. That's a lot of gold for not much as a return.
Yeah, after this swap, they will get much of it back on the... actually, only one turret plate back, so... That was kind of baffling. I feel like, you know, Frank kind of just... faltering on their macro play overall. They had Kurt into a 5v5. They didn't find any pick. And now onto the bot lane, you know, Kurt only gets 2 plates back for a full tower. That's... I think PSG are very happy with that trade.
Yeah, they definitely are. PSG have now moved ahead by 4,500 gold at 13 minutes in the game. That's a huge gold lead off of 1 kill, but mainly macro. And Clement, as we've been watching, all the gold being funneled into Unified, you know, once again, a core part of this team, Unified and Kaiwing, longest standing duo in that bottom lane, 5 years just about. I'm not sure exactly on the dates, but we're heading to that point. The core member is fed once again and has picked up 10 pieces of turret plating in total.
Oh, that is absolutely ridiculous to have that much gold funnel onto the Aphelios. In the meantime, I'm also going to lose my mind if Hanabi somehow gets a 50 CS lead over Tryndamere.
Tryndamere, yeah.
Which might be happening. I don't know what happened. I feel like just some of the decisions on where to be from Kurt have been kind of weird, honestly. So yeah, it's so odd to see Hanabi like just standing behind his own minion. Like, he can't really kill Kurt, but he's still up by that much CS, which is absolutely mind-boggling. Yeah, sure, some of it did come from Juhan's early pressure, but it's still quite a feat in itself, and he does have the teleport advantage for PSG as they start this Herald as well.
Well, as Herald gets started, it's Pretender who burns the TP first, so Hanabi able to join, as you mentioned before. He's going to be receiving the wave while Kurt starts walking up. For now, River is cleared out of the vision that was so well prioritized by PSG, but this one control ward holding true as Unified walks on out. Pings are there. They're going to get sandwiched. Where Kurt is pretty dangerous right now, but PSG pull back, see him walking towards them, and Herald priority still over to Frank Esports, but Juhan away from the event horizon. Holo's running on in. Kurt still there. It's a member's disadvantage. PSG don't have their mid laner who now joins the fray, but Juhan goes on down, and Hanabi teleports in. Better late than never, but for Frank Esports, they get the target they're after.
Yeah, I actually think that's a bit of a misplay from PSG there. If I was PSG, I wouldn't even bother teleporting. I'd just keep on pushing.
Sure.
Like, the full team's there anyway.
Okay. Good, has to pop the ulti, almost taken down by Unified. At the very least, Clement, after the play goes sour, PSG should be able to threaten for this mid lane turret with 4 members.
Yeah, I just feel like PSG, they did the damage that they wanted to, and, they held on to most of their ultimates. There's not a lot of combat power coming in from Frank after that play. So, even though it was a kill, it's kind of a Pyrrhic victory, and honestly, I feel like PSG could have gotten even more out of that play. Tryndamere already rotated top, and if I was an Navi, I just push until someone has to respawn, and then teleport top, or we still have a kind of a situation where Frank aren't even in that good of a spot. So,
Yeah.
kind of an interesting play from both sides. I feel like for Frank, even though they got the pick, it was very difficult to secure a non-critical member. Who they really need to stop at this point is Unified. He's just getting way too fed, way too much gold. Getting Juhan is a little bit too mobile with Core Drinker, survived a little bit too long, and once you burn most of Pretender's cooldowns, it does open you up to retaliation.
Yeah, those ultis down from the solo lane is something that I've been thinking, Clement, a very big deal. Undying Rage, Primordial Burst, I believe it's called. Absolute silly ability too. But once they're down, you feel like options open up a little bit as well. Can Kaiwing put up the door and block a target who's about to get ulted by Vega, or does it go past the door, Clement? Sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it stops on the door. Like, it is just a normal projectile. There's nothing special about it, so it should still work the normal way.
We might get an answer at least soon as well. Kaiwing does put up the door. Hollow going to the back line onto Unified, who flashes away. Event Horizon there. It is a fight, but now that Pretender has put down the cage, PSG get a bit more space. It's in front of this dragon. One apiece already picked up, and Frank Esports, they set a lot for that. Hollow's ulti being down weighs a lot.
And this is the problem with Frank Esports Engage. Sure, it looks really flashy, but if you look at PSG, they actually didn't use anything. Like, they're holding on to the only thing they used was Glacial Fissure, and they still have a lot of resets to come into the fight, where Frank are now kind of lacking in resources.
I mean, Juhan going in, trying to bait them out. The Moonlight Vigil comes through. Unified has to cleanse away, gets caught in the Event Horizon once again. As Bay takes the damage, Juhan goes in, but not enough energy. And Frank Esports will get away with their lives. PSG are the ones that pick up the Dragon, now heading towards that Herald as a 5-man unit.
I'm just kind of surprised that this is the game plan that Frank Esports has settled on. To me, it's just kind of clear that you just try to overpower on the Tryndamere, I don't even think fighting 5v5 here is to their composition's strong point.
Yeah, Rebirth going in. It's after the Herald. Chaos Storm's down, the support's dead. Event Horizon again, the explosive cast beautiful. The Chaos Storm in the middle, but Bay just gets hit with the Primordial Burst. He survives though, and now that those ultis are down, Frank Esports look a lot weaker. Clement, I don't know what this game is. It's a low kill count, but Frank Esports are just like, we should fight after the objective every time, or before.
Yeah, I just don't know why Kurt isn't off split pushing. Like, if you looked at that 5v5, Kurt got 1 auto attack. Like, that was his contribution to the fight. Like, why even bother? It just seems so pointless to me.
He went Hull Breaker as well. Like, it's not doing much.
Yeah, so it's just so weird. Like, Rebirth is going in, but you can tell the team can't follow up. How are they going to go past the gravity field being thrown there? And just look at Kurt. He gets 1 auto off. And then he spins away.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I really don't know what Frank are trying to do with this comp. I'm trying to piece it out as the game goes on, but it looks like... Look at Frank. Look at Kurt. He got 67 damage off in that fight. Like, why is he there? Like, I just don't know why Tryndamere is there.
67 damage, dude. It's not even that much. There's no damage there. I don't know who he hit, but...
man. Just go farm.
Oh, God. Well, Frank, he's doing that for now. So that's a start. And you're right, a lot of questions about what Frank Esports want to do in this play, because for PSG, every time they come into them, Chaos Storm goes down, Kaiwing sets up for his ulti with a Glacial Fissure, Solar Flare burned. Rebirth wanted to pick. There's no objectives up for a couple of seconds, that meaning Baron, but at the very least tries to stop them. Unified has no summoners available into the backline. Hollow's there. They've got the 80 carry. He's down. Frank Esports making the dive. Kurt now in once again, Clement. This time he's autoing as Eminem's hit on the backside by Juhan. It's all over the place. Under the turret they're defending, and Kurt now explosive cast to the wing as Pretender slows him down with the Event Horizon. But off the wing, Hanabi's there with the flash. The barrel down. On top of him, Bay helps out. And Hollow, meanwhile, going to get a bit of pressure himself as Kurt still has the ulti available, but he's stunned up. They go to Hollow in the meantime. And Frank Esports stuck around way too long for their business.
They get completely aced here. PSG with a good response, and they do have the teleport advantage from Hanabi. Not only is he getting the CS lead, he's showing up. He's absolutely unkillable at this point. Eminem finds himself underneath the tower, and well, once again, I just don't understand why Hullbreaker Tryndamere is getting played this way. It's just so mind-boggling to see. I never expected Frank Esports to play this as a 5-man first comp. Like, that's just... What? What is happening here?
Well, you getting your mind blown as well. There was no smite for Juhan.
That was close. That was close.
That was close. Eminem would have gotten huge prep. Let's watch it. Oh my god, we're going back so far.
Yeah, Kaiwing does magically get to walk away from the Event Horizon. There is a small setup time there. And this was a good chase down. I think they could have gotten out just after the unified kill. That was probably enough here. You know, even Kurt goes full on in for the fight. They stay underneath the tower with Reaper taking 2 shots and then aggro shifting over onto their main carries.
Like,
so,
what is going on?
Yeah, it could have been a very clean escape and just a 1+ on the 80 carry there from Frank Esports, but they decided to chase Juhan too, which I think really spelled their downfall there. It's completely unnecessary, and credit where credit is due. Hanabi and Juhan played that fight so well. They stuck onto all the targets. They had great shot calling on which target to continue to chase down, and they finish off everyone.
The core standing members of PSG, like, you know, Juhan gets praise, but Hanabi on this tank Gragas is playing a clinic right now. We've already talked about the CS differential against a Tryndamere. They can't do any wrong. PSG, 41,000 gold worth in the game, but the big thing is about the CS difference here. The gold difference as well. 7,000 in their lead. 4 turrets to 0. Not a singular turret picked up by Frank Esports. The only thing they've gotten is the Mountain Dragon. And as another turret goes down here, this Baron power play is moving closer to the 3K region for PSG.
Well, I guess you can take the Gragas out of Kurt, but you can't take the Kurt out of Gragas. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like he's playing Tryndamere like a Gragas, you know? He's always grouping with the team, trying to get first kills. It's just... like, I really want to know what Frank Esports and their strategy was for this game. It just feels... I feel like you're supposed to stretch the map thin, use your Predator advantage, use that Tryndamere side lane split pushing. They didn't really do it this game. And now I feel like the game is slipping away. 8,000
Pick on. Clement, I feel like if you're going to do it, just pick on.
And exactly.
Except that what the team's going to do. Now, you have more merit to criticize. You know, I'm coming in first day of PCS. More importantly, I am someone who doesn't hold the rank or the coaching merit. But I see how Kurt is, and I'd just love to see it on in future. We'll leave it for now. Baron's opened the base. That's 4,000 just about in the Baron power play. Event Horizon going to get Juhan here. Everfrost as well, but he safeguards out of the damage. And Hollow, he's not going to be looking for Hanabi. He wants Unified, but Unified is in safe hands right now.
Yeah, Hanabi is way too chunky right now, so Frank Esports, they're not even going to bother trying to take him down. Just going to leave him be at this point, and I feel like their game plan has shifted into just scaling for the Jinx and the Vigar. Vigar, again, is a pick you don't usually associate with scaling because we don't see him that much, but ever since his change to his stack mechanic where you can get 5 stacks out of cannon, he actually can scale up to pretty ridiculous heights, and one of his core items is actually the death cap, which really works with him because he gets that extra AP with his passive. So I'm being very generous here, but I kind of think that's the only out from Frank Esports where they maybe can scale to a point and just one-shot someone.
Okay. Well, you did give me one condition. So I respect that. They're 9,000 gold at a disadvantage after the Baron power play. They're now against Soul Point. It is only a Cloud Soul, so again, a benefit for Frank Esports that it's not as one of the more ridiculous souls in League of Legends. But at 25 minutes, it's hard to see how this one ends anyway, but poorly for Frank. And Clement, Baron's going to be coming up in a minute 45 once again. PSG holding full control. They're pushing waves in. They've got an open inhibitor in the bottom lane. And they've got a Tryndamere who is struggling to push out these waves past the river.
Yeah, this Tryndamere is not been as impressive, honestly. And looking across the board here, I just can't believe Bay's build. I feel like there's a point where there's just too much protection. Like you're up like 10,000 gold in the matchup. And you're just like, my mythic is proud of the Shattered Queen, and I gotta get the Zanyas in as well. You know, I just can't die. I'm like, you're not dying. Kurt's not even fed. Like he doesn't even have a mythic completed. Okay, just build some more damage.
Safe, dude. He wants to be safe. He's got Lich Bait. He's gonna split push better than Kurt is.
That's true. That's true. I feel like Bay has always struck me as a player that's just like, I feel like he's so incredibly defensive. All of his Rise games are just pure tank Rises, and now you have the most defensive Victor I've ever seen. Well, I guess he's going to roll and coast to a very safe victory, though. So, yeah, you can't fault the man, but it's just like, it's kind of funny to see.
I mean, I guess he's going Void stuff.
That's true.
As his third. So, we're kind of shifting gear, and he's going to go for the explosion and, you know, get through any MR that's left there, get as close to true damage as possible. And so I'm curious about the damage here from the mid laner. I've been watching Pretender for a while, but I think Bay is a lot more impressive at this point. Look at PSG, still gripping around mid. Kurt's joining up. And he's not even touching bot, even after Vision's being cleared. He's just going to group. I mean, you need objective. Objective bounties came into the game for reasons like this. Hanabi, he's found Frank. He found Frank Esports. Rebirth in a bit of trouble. The rest of PSG are there. Body Slam forces the flash. Hollow running away. Objective bounties a bot. Clement. Frank Esports needs some gold.
Just trade. You're gonna get 800 gold for the team. You know, just Frank, just don't group, please. That play where Frank grouped. Oh no.
Kurt running away. Now, he has a Kraken Slayer, by the way. Haven't seen that on a Tryndamere in quite a while. As Baron starts, and this is going to take everything from Frank Esports to come back.
All right, Holo, this is your chance. You get the Baron steal, you get 800 gold, everyone tries to back out.
Oh, good event Horizon. Kaiwing stunned up as the support who takes no damage. Juhan goes in backline kick over the wall for Eminem. He's now separated as Kurt.
That's the
trying to hit Hanabi. But look at this. This Tryndamere doing no damage on the Gragas. Again, trying to team fight, taking the damage himself. They're off the Baron, and Juhan does go down, but Clement, even with the jungler down, I'm not jumping to conclusions. I think they can 4v5.
That's true, but at the very least, Frank should be able to pick up an objective here. That's a huge amount of bounty over to one side, and they found Kaiwing.
Oh, Kaiwing walks in, flashes away from the event horizon. The bounty, you're right, will go down. It'll be massive, especially since minions get the bottom lane as well. Frank Esports suddenly just got 2,000 gold.
Yeah, they're roaring back into the game. Okay, roaring is probably a little bit too strong, but they're creeping back into relevance here. Only 7,000 gold down, and that was a great play from Pretender. The flash back, you know, just really brought Juhan into a super awkward position. I was kind of surprised that Juhan would try to chance for that play because he is the jungler. Like, once he's down, the rest of the team, even if they can win the 4v5, they're not going to be able to do the objective. So I felt like Juhan could play a little bit safer on that one. It's a small throw, but he's playing Lee Sin, so I think he gets a pass on that one. You always have to... You always like the players that have a bit of that Lee syndrome in them.
Yeah, you do. Spotted out here on the cheeky Baron with the top laner and AD. Unified will back away with Hanabi. And PSG, they're a 5-man call, but sitting on a ward. There is a lens in the inventory of Hanabi. Please press it. That ward is doing a lot for Frank Esports right now.
I guess not as much as we imagined, as the Super Mega Death Rocket just comes out way too early.
They're still scared, knowing that PSG moved past it and we're heading towards the Purple Worm. So for PSG, they'll just clear mid. We are at an absolute standstill. Kurt presses W, and it doesn't do too much. And after the minions go, once again, the Baron down.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, but since there's no TP on the top laner, Kurt is forced to be here. Like, I can sort of understand why he's here. But it's going to be very difficult for them to play this. Rebirth is just kind of caught in no man's land.
Yeah, he just Hex Flash for this. Ultimate used by Kaiwing. They want the support. And now that he doesn't have a flash, that's a quick pick for PSG. That goes over to Bay. And PSG now have a 5 versus 4, so an even easier Baron take if they want to threaten Frank Esports once again towards it.
Yeah, not a lot of options for Frank in that spot. What they were trying to do is to pull PSG out of that vision fog and hopefully outplay them. But unfortunately for them, Rebirth just got caught at the worst possible time. Holo with some good mechanics, but can he make it into the pit? That's the question here.
Well, Pretender trying to burst down Juhan once again, though. Holo's on the rim, wants to take the blast gun. Hanabi can't stop it. He's in early, exhausted out as well. They get it. Juhan kicks away the Tryndamere as well as they try to take it down. Event Horizon stops him though. Pretender doing work, needs to smite it, gets it. A bit risky though as Pretender now gets Sonic's Wave. Ulti's in, the Primordial Burst almost takes Juhan down. But eventually PSG will do what they came here to do. Rebirth respawns and is about to re-die. Go back towards the Nexus. They get a kill. M&M has reset as well with the AoE, but Unified's there. Flashes forward with the ultimatum. Excuse me, it's pretty much that as M&M flashes as well. PSG, 3 Barons. The game once again at the palm of their hands.
Yeah, we did see the power of the Vygar coming in right there. Basically one-shotting Juhan out of nowhere. Really cool play from there, but no, this was just a tough spot for Frank. They're going into a Baron pit, no vision whatsoever. It's a 4v5, and I feel like they did pretty well given the circumstances right here. Somehow Kurt was able to divert a lot of attention away on the top side. You know, Holo goes in early. It's essentially a 3v5 that they do somewhat okay on. They get 2 kills back onto it. Still overall a pretty big win for PSG, but I think Frank really exceeded my expectations coming into this one.
Yeah. In a good way, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good.
No sarcasm from me.
No, I was double checking because you're a sarcastic person. I was wondering. Well, are you taking the Mickey? I'm not even
All right,
sure.
the Rebirth re-die was probably unnecessary here, but
they got Juhan. They took a Baron off, so I don't know.
I expected them to be completely wiped. I expected that to not even be close. So
okay.
yeah, I'll give them some points.
Yeah, do it, Clement. Don't worry.
Let's
9K
go,
gold
let's
lead.
go.
We're back. We're back here into live at 33 minutes. And then Horizon's been a pain as Pretender's been locking down Kaiwing. 2-man solo flip. Unified caught out, has to Gale Force out. Holo's right on top of him though, but he's surviving with a crescendo and the turret down. Holo's dying as into the resurrection. Bay's ulti helping out as well as Kurt right on top of him, but the Tryndamere now going to get stunned up. And you know what? Kurt hasn't had a great time. This guy, Unified, is back up and alive. The fact he took so long to dive is such a pain in Frank's behind.
Yeah, I guess Bay's build did pay off. Extra protection all the way.
There
Nothing that Tryndamere could do. GA's ununified as well.
Clement, PSG putting the finishing touches in the final game of the night. And PSG will move to 4-1. This is a final defense here from Pretender and the rest of Frank Esports. But even they can't stop this train of momentum. PSG cleaning them up in